Inspection Services. Great breakfast back there. Covered all the food groups. Thank you. What do you got?
I recently was on an inspection with one of our guys, and it was a 1955 home which an investor had remodeled. He added a second story, but what had happened was the foundation now was cracked. The brick facade had a crack going up it. You get inside the crawl space and you see some posts, and now the concrete was cracking. Fortunately, we caught it. We showed it to the client. They're now going to get an engineer to check it out. If something like that happens and the crack is not evident and maybe it's starting to grow at the time of the inspection, we have a bunch of warranties totaling up to $25,000 worth of coverage to help your clients in that situation. Because who knows what that guy did, the investor, what he added on. Did he know with the footers, were they substantial to add more weight to the home? But we also have a next warranty, which is another $25,000 in coverage, which pays out in increments of $5,000 per claim. So that would go ahead. That's extra. That costs this here. These warranty coverages are free for this one. But we do a lot to help your clients get into a home safely. On the back of this is a little checklist for sellers. So if you got a listing, this would help the buyer's inspector come in and do a good job. And he's just basically run and clean up the junk, replace the light bulbs, change the air filter. That's one of the big things that we always catch. But those little things go show that the seller's serious to sell. It just makes it look better than dirty air filters and a whole bunch of light bulbs that don't work. So thank you very much. Any questions for me? Yeah, good. I do have some good news to share. This past weekend, my daughter gave me a shirt. I thought she was going to mock me because I just turned 50. Instead, the t-shirt said promoted to grandpa. You thought I needed your money when my daughter got married. Now I really need your inspections. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. That's a big step.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. Crack and cracks are a huge problem in this country, right? But in our business, cracks definitely are probably your top three biggest fears, correct? Yeah. I'm not joking. We should probably just have a class on being able to interpret cracks in a foundation and cinder block wall. Because there are cracks that are fine and acceptable, and there's some that are very scary, right? And our biggest liability and concern, when those are bad, it's a big number. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Got a call yesterday. Realizing my position, I get a lot of these calls. And they start out going, "Hey Brad, Kelly Chansey, I have something I want to say about one of your agents." I get a lot of those calls. Okay? Believe it or not. It's a stressful world out there, right? It's a high intensity world in our business, so I get a lot of those calls. Brad joked with Kelly, who I know for a long time, she's a great agent, said, "Fantastic, man, just send me an email about how great our agent was." Okay? Expecting the other, right? Like, you're not going to believe what they did. I've been calling them, for 4 days. I haven't gotten a return call. Okay? And she actually answered. She goes, "Okay, I'll do that." And I went, "Kelly, I'm kind of kidding." And she goes, "No, I'm calling to tell you how great your agent was." And I'm like going, it's like the happiest day of my month. That just doesn't happen that often. So, one thing, remember, if something happens good, we're kind of programmed in this world now to always see the things not working. Notice the things that are working. But, it's a long letter. And she actually emailed me this. "Brad, I had the total pleasure of working and closing with one of your agents yesterday afternoon that I want to share with you my experience. She was a complete professional and a good person from start to finish. It was the manner in which she conducts business that has set her apart amongst the many real estate agents currently out there. Through and through, she was dedicated. She was a dedicated advocate for her seller, and yet she understood the need to cooperate in order to get the contract to closing. Remember, we're common ground, right? Does no good to argue. She knew that we both had the same goal of closing. As that dedicated advocate for her client, she knew that working in a manner that will help the transaction go smoothly is the best way to advocate for her client. She conducted business with an approach that if we listen and express to each other our clients' needs and concerns, that we will come to an agreeable solution at each moment along the contract period. She communicated well throughout, God, this is just like, oh my gosh, throughout the entire transaction. It was calm in her approach to everything. It appeared that she set expectations and worked to manage the emotions throughout the transaction. Believe it or not that I even have to say it in these days, but she knew / read the contract, and she actually read the inspection report. She managed the details of an extensive inspection report and didn't drop or pass the bucket on what seller side tasks despite me offering to help. It is obvious that she is customer service minded because she told me how she opened the door for her contractors when her seller was unable to be there. This agent is Nicole Maben.
Yay!
As a veteran agent, I long for another time when we knew that the agent on the other side of the transaction was a high caliber agent dedicated to being the best professional in the business. So when I get the chance to work with one, I'm very grateful. You have a real talent in Nicole Maben. I look forward to seeing her hit many levels of success in this industry.
Nice. Very nice.
How about that?
Very good.
So a lot of really important things were said in that letter, and it's important. Your business will grow when people think about you this way. Okay? And just, you see something good, take a minute. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, unbelievable. Okay, so let's put up our home slide real quick. So we're just going to keep this up here. I think we might have touched on it a couple weeks ago, but we'll add to this. So another thing, I think the big conversation moving forward for the foreseeable future is there a recession or no recession? Everyone's talking about it. It's a great conversation to have with your clients and everyone you see, to intentionally bring up a conversation that you can speak at a high level very knowledgeably about this subject. Everyone wants to talk. So this, we mentioned before, it didn't get up on this list. So we are below, this is on the no recession, below the 4-year median price trend line. Everyone remember this? So this comes out every January. It's part of Gary's presentation at Family Reunion. I think it's an extremely important line, an extremely important slide to show everyone. It's good to tell people and explain situations. It's better to show proof of it, right? So, historic trend line, interesting, it used to say 4, now it's 5. But you can see the average median rise in prices starting in '89 was almost right on trend line. You see that? Gary Keller, no doubt about it, he predicted way before the downturn, okay? Way before. He's the first person I heard say, we're in for big trouble. This was why. You see how far we were above median trend line? On top of another thing he looks at, which is the number of people that own homes in America way above the average, okay? So good prediction on his part. We did correct in a major way, right? We've had this talk. Again, this slide this year didn't, we had the second trend line, which is the real trend line, this trend line or this trend line. But I think you'll see that this is evidence. I would show this slide to people. We are below the original trend line in median price, even though we've had massive appreciation for the last 8 years. Almost everyone you've sold to, especially way back, has made a ton of money, has a ton of equity, which is fantastic. People are happy with you. But people, you guys started coming to me in 2016 going, oh my gosh, we've had all this appreciation for 4 years. Is there more room? Should we be scared, right? Look at if you had kind of said, you need to back off here, right? We've had 3 incredible years. Someone just told me a story last week, someone that bought within the last year, they have 100 in equity in 1 year. Okay, not to say that will continue. We don't have a crystal ball, but I feel like this is a pretty good indicator. I think the world we live in now, information, everyone has information in a second, okay? So there's usually exuberance. This is exuberance. This is what Greenspan, irrational exuberance. This is it. Everyone making money. You went to a party. Everyone went to a party. My friend who's an idiot just made $50,000 owning a home for 3 months. I mean, that's the stories you kept hearing. So everyone kept buying without any logic, right? Stuff that didn't even cash flow. Stuff that even they knew had a negative cash flow. That's why we hit this, right? So, I still feel pretty good here. I would think that we are going to go, and you could say there's another trend line here, which we're at trend line if you're on this one. But I think even if you play this trend line, we will do this. We will go way over because of exuberance, okay? So this gives me a lot of comfort that even though prices are up massive and at record levels, I still feel good recommending to you that you buy, especially with these interest rates. Any thoughts on that?
No, that's true.
So use this. Put this in your book. And I would think with any buyer, yes.
What's the significance of the 305? The median price.
I think
We
they
went from
ju-
94 down there in 89 up to 305.
I think they just extrapolated where that is right there. Yeah.
Because
That's where it is on the line.
The yellow line is 4%
Right.
increase per year.
I mean, don't the bulk of you, doesn't somebody at some point ask about how much further can they go? Right? This is a good chart. I mean, telling them, explaining it is a big step. Showing them is a bigger step. Okay, so
Good,
this,
good slide for listing presentations, and buyers. And it will prove that you know what you're talking about. So talking is one thing, like Ray said, but a visual, you know, we're trying to establish ourselves.
Picture's worth 1,000.
exactly.
Well,
So just another, go ahead.
just another question. All right, when we started bumping up in 01,
Yep.
02, 03, we start creeping up above the trend line.
Correct.
But if you're looking at it now, once we start bumping that 305 trend line at the end of the deal, any guesstimate as to how many years? Because there's 1,
Right.
2, 3, 4. There's 6 years where it's above before it bottomed, and it really dropped down, and then it bottomed out in 08,
Good point.
09.
Good point. Can't answer
So you
that.
can't hit the panic. I mean, is that
Well, that gives me a lot of comfort. This is going to take a few years.
right?
Okay, but again, look at the flow and the speed of information in 2004 compared to now. Okay, it's way faster now. So that this could be compressed. Okay, because just more people know big money's being made, more people getting in. Okay, I mean, we just had an agent in this office that's going to stay in this office, but just moved to Israel, and her job is to actually shake the trees in Israel. Investors to buy here, and she has agents on the ground here to find it for them. So, believe me, this is a worldwide thing. Especially, you know, we talked about it before. We have some countries with negative bond rates. Okay. American real estate's looking pretty good. Okay. Good conversation. Just have it all the time, but have more things that you can talk about. Terry,
Yes,
you've been in Bowl for 7 weeks.
yes.
You have a lot of people that are bold.
Yes.
Why don't you acknowledge them today and also tell us kind of how did you enter Bold? So what was your mindset, you guys that took Bold? What was your mindset in business and just in general? And how did you leave Bold and what's different about you?
What's different about me? No. What I'd really like to do is just bring you guys up here that graduated Bowl, everybody that's in here. Come on. Come on. So this is just a few of our graduates. So not everybody was able to make it this morning. But I will say that Bold, I'm so proud of you all that did graduate from Bold because it is really intense. If you haven't taken Bold, it's very intense. They have a lot of work to do. They have to get 100 contacts a week, plus, add contacts into command and everything. So I'm really proud of all of these guys. They did a fantastic job. So, why don't we start? Who's a first-time Boulder? I know Tony is, okay. And then, all right.
Wow.
So, Bob, what did you feel was the most important thing that you got out of Bold?
Sure, I think for me it was actually taking me out of my comfort zone. So, doing the 100 contacts every week was beneficial for me because it gave me an opportunity to make contacts beyond my, my sphere of influence. So I think that was beneficial. Got a lot of contacts, a lot of follow-up work, so it helped put, work in my funnel. So that was very beneficial.
Yay.
Yeah.
Tony?
I think there was like a lot of small things they teach you in Bold, and I want to kind of piggyback on the getting out of your comfort zone because so much of it are not when we get uncomfortable to do something, we don't want to do it. And I've gotten pretty good about getting out of my comfort zone, but it taught me to keep going and keep pushing out of my comfort zone to get better at what I do.
Awesome. Dominique?
So I think the biggest thing for me, some of you guys know I went through something very personal. I actually had my apartment building catch on fire about a few weeks ago. And
It's fine. You're good.
the biggest thing for me, it just taught me just keep pushing forward, pretty much. You can't just sit back and, sit there and just be like, oh, woe is me. You just got to really keep fighting, keep pushing forward because there are people depending on you, your family, your friends, and even, other, realtors, they're depending on you, they're looking up to you. So it's just really important just to keep fighting and have those accountability partners and people to be in your corner with you. So that was the biggest thing.
For myself, it was more so getting around other agents that are where I want to be. And they're making millions, and that's what I plan on doing. So I wanted to see what they're doing, their mindset, and adapt what I do with it. And it allowed me to see what they're doing to get to where they're going.
Yeah. All right. Miss Diamond.
For me, it was, again, getting out of my comfort zone. I don't like phone calls. So, that was a lot. And then the high level of accountability, I think, because, we trick ourselves and say, oh, we're doing great, or I'll do 10 phone calls, but having to do 100 and then having to discuss it with your team and them hold you accountable was huge. And also it forced me to be more structured, just like with the schedule and learning how to stick to it. I think that was important.
Right.
And big.
Miss Dolores.
For me, it was just bringing me back because I've actually been licensed for a long time, but have been out of the real estate business for more than 20 years. So it's like, whoa. But at the same time, it was wonderful because, as has been said, there's accountability. There are people that are supporting you, and people like Dominique. There were several other people in our class that really had some things happen to them during this time, and to see them move through it in spite of really encourages you and lets you know you can do this. No matter what you come up against, you can do this. And you got people who are supporting you. And I feel that in this office as well.
Well, for me, it was inspirational, it was encouraging, and with everyone here, getting out of your comfort zone, shift in mindset. I went from coaching with Terry, and I had a hard time making 25 calls a week. And I went from making 25 calls a week to 100 calls a week, and then I did a Bold 100 in one day, made 100 contacts. So just thinking that you can't do something and pushing, again, the high level of accountability and pushing you into the direction of knowing that you can do it. And once you do it, you can't stop.
Miss Rashonda.
So for me, this is my third time taking Bold. First, I wanted to experience the new Bold, which it is totally new. So if you haven't been through Bold, or if you have before, it's going to be a totally new experience for you. The second thing is I'm competitive by nature, so I love being in those type of environments because it just helps me overall with my business. So we had one person in our class who was a former teacher, and she was just on fire with her Bold 100. So I was like, I need to do more. So that really helped me. And then it also, from a command perspective, it had me do something new with Insights, which is in our Kelly feature. So I did a Bold 100 with businesses as well, going around to them because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs anyway. So it gave it a reason to go visit everybody and give them a free marketing tool with our Kelly Insights. So I loved Bold. It was cool. So
good. Yeah. So proud of you guys. Thanks for coming today.
Congratulations. Again, it is new Bold 2. Another one coming in January. I'll be in. I take it every January. It's my 10th Bold. But it sounds like great reviews from the changes. All right, let me read this while we're still on the Terry. We got good letters today. So this came from one of our agents. A lot of you don't realize that Terry Cummings is one of the best coaches in the country, and and there's no charge to her coaching, which is pretty rare. Most offices, that's not true. So this is a letter coming from one of our agents. Some 8 months ago, I was on my way out of residential real estate business. I was, like many new realtors, licensed, educated, trained, but no direction. I just couldn't put it all together. My team leader at the time, this is actually written here, I'm not making this up, one of the smartest people I've ever met. Brought in Terry as a coach to new agents. She was made available to those wanting to do more with their careers. The concept for me was perfect. 30 minutes a week with an experienced realtor that you could just bounce stuff off of. Every agent is at different points in their career, and each agent experiences crazy, unique situations on a daily basis that they might not be 100% sure how to handle. There was not a single time during our time together where she wasn't available for a quick question, or even more if you need it. She never missed an appointment or failed to respond anytime I reached out with a problem. I think she saw the commitment from my end and therefore was willing to give not only herself but every other agent that was willing to learn her time as well. She revels in our successes and makes sure we learn from our mistakes. If the $1 Million Real Estate Agent is the Bible, Terry Cummings is King Solomon. All right, so we got a new name. I myself capped in basically 8 months of work, and next year should be double that, if not more. I almost gave up. I would strongly suggest to any new agent or someone that just wants to take it to another level, schedule an appointment with Terry and hear what she has to say. I did, and I can't thank her enough. Oh. I think there'll be a waiting line at Terry's office. She's in the commercial area. There we go. Coach with Terry. She's great. Okay, so Pete, what you got for us today? We're in the new command world. We need your intel.
Let's see. All right, good. Well, so last week everybody was freaking out because websites were going away. Guess what? They're here. So technically or supposedly they're starting today. Tomorrow, we're going to do a whole class on how to build your website, how to configure the whole thing, and that. However, today is the land grab. What does that mean? If you currently have a KW website and you like it, let's just say that it's called terrycumming.kw.com, then you don't have to do anything. Okay, you got that one. Okay, your grandmother then. Okay. However, if you would like to have a website that says kingsolomon.kw.com, then you need to go out and claim that one. Make sense? So if you've already got one that you like, you don't have to do anything. But if you'd like it to be different, then you need to go out and grab it. All right? And notice at the top right, can you scroll it, make it bigger? The screen. Just roll the scroll wheel. See right here what it says? There you go. Now scroll it up just a tad. You see where it says Kelly Guide right here? Go ahead and click on that for me. And then scroll down just a tad. It says Get Started. And tomorrow we're going to go over the whole 9 yards. But today, if you want kingsolomon.kw.com, one of you needs to go get it right now before she does. Okay? So you click Get Started. Choose your subdomain and configure your profile. Now notice, this is the one that I've already gotten. Okay, sorry, Terry. I know you probably wanted it. But notice right here it says your subdomain. So when you log into Command, more than likely it's going to have whatever your existing domain is. So if you like that existing domain, you don't have to do anything. But if you don't like it, this is where you check where you change it, and you say Claim Domain. If you can get it, then this will turn green, and you got it. If you think, hey, I'm going to go out there and get Atlanta.kw.com, it's probably not going to turn green. Okay? So that's the tip for today. Tomorrow, we're going to go really deep into this. Okay? It ought to be a lot of fun. Okay?
What time? You have more than one.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Question?
You can only have one subdomain.
You can only have one subdomain. That's correct. And this is a subdomain. It's not a top-level domain. So if you have a team, that's a whole different conversation, right? So if you're going to have a team, you'd probably do it with the Rainmaker. Okay?
So if you have a GoDaddy account, that's a domain or a subdomain? That's a domain.
GoDaddy is a registrar. So you can have any domain. You can have hankwilliams.com and point it to hankwilliams.kw.com. Okay? If your existing KW domain is hankwilliams.kw.com and you want it to be decabrealestateguru.com, then you go to GoDaddy, you'd get decabguru.com, and you would point it to hankwilliams.kw.com.
Will you be able to cover those steps tomorrow in class?
We can try. All right, so for instance, you ask if you have GoDaddy. Well, GoDaddy is one registrar. There are bazillion registrars. It's like a car dealership. Okay?
So I would be able to, I'm working on my website, so I would be able to link my GoDaddy account with Command.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Technically, it's not Command. It's a subdomain, but the answer is yes. Okay? Any more questions?
10 to what time?
10
10
until...
to 11, and then extra help 11 to 12
Perfect.
in this room.
Gotcha. All right, so let's bring up our panel. We have 3 rising stars, fast rising stars, Paige Pace, Tony Teutsch, and Ming, who was just there. Where'd Ming go? Go find Ming. There's John King, 3 closings yesterday. Okay, so we'll begin and we'll make Ming third. So, interesting, just one factor of these 3. So, these are 3 people that have done very well in the business very quickly. There's a lot of topics that most agents want to hear about, But I think this is probably the top one, which is, you've done well quickly in the business. How'd you do it, right? Everyone wants to know how you do it. One common factor of these three, and we have 350 agents in this office. I would pick these three in the top 5 in the whole office. They have one thing in common. They're the fastest responders. I could never think of a time like in under 10 seconds. Okay, all three of them. Not to say that's the key to real estate, but it's an important point. So let's start out. What action steps, Tony, would you say? How long have you been in the business?
A year and a half.
Okay. What action steps have you purposely taken to have caused what's going on in your business and the success?
I had to start with learning, just learning as much as I could about the business. But my biggest focus now is on lead gen and building my database. We talk about database management. That's the number one thing we do to build our business. And that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm adding 100 contacts to my database a month, 100 plus, 100 to 150. And it's building a long-term business. So.
Okay, and give a little bit more detail, because what you're doing will wow people if they hear. So what is your day?
So when I started in the business, I had I literally had 50 contacts in my database in Atlanta, and they all worked in the same restaurant. I worked 50 hours a week at that restaurant, so I didn't have time to do the job. Now I cold call 1,500 to 2,000 people a week. I'm on the phone at least 15 hours. That does not count the time it takes me to organize my call lists and then do the work where it comes, putting into my constant contact, putting them into my CRM, and then, I try to double up while I'm on the phone because I got my headset going. I'm writing my thank you notes to every single person that has said, yes, I can stay in touch with them. I even write thank you notes to people who say no sometimes if I have a really great conversation. Instead of taking you off my list, but you were great to talk to, here's my info in case you ever want to reach out. And I just do it, and this came from a place where I was scared to make calls. And one of the things I like to talk about, getting out of your comfort zone. That pit of your stomach feeling when you don't want to do something. It was there, and I still don't. There are times I don't want to do it, but I know that it's a necessity to do it and to get where I want to be. And I've kind of tracked it out. By the end of this year, I'm going to have 1,000 contacts in my database. By September of next year, I'll have 2,000 contacts in my database, and I've factored in time for follow-up calls and all that. In 2.5 years, I'll have 4,000 contacts in my database. And that's just from the calling, not even the referrals.
Okay, so do you see what's happening here? I mean, realize that a lot of people, when we interviewed, got in this business because you didn't want a boss anymore. Okay? But, which is a good thing, but there's also an issue with that, in that a lot of us aren't very good at being our own boss, right? And it requires a mental mindset that I go to work at this time and I work till this time. In this business, sometimes it's longer if you have deals going. But a big key to the success here is I would wager they're good at this. They can be their own boss, and they rarely, if ever, don't do what they're supposed to be doing every day, what's on their schedule. Paige Pace, you have soared like a rocket in your career and earnings. So how about you? Same question.
So for me, before I was with Keller Williams, I was with another firm, and I was brand new to real estate. I never purchased a property, and all I knew was what I needed to know to pass the test. So I used to sit around in the common room and listen to other people talk, and what I heard was the other agent saying, lead, 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 my lead needs this, my lead needs that. And so I thought, you have to be what I would call a sales ninja, someone that's going to swoop in, close the deal, and move on to the next transaction. And what I learned is that's not the case at all. What you should be doing is taking those leads as an opportunity to build a relationship with that person, so that you're not only building, yes, a sphere, but also somebody that's going to be your biggest cheerleader.
Okay, Ming, so you're back. what would you say? What would you say were the actions that made you successful so quickly? So, Ming, how long have you been in the business?
This is my 4th year.
And last year you were number 2 individual? 3. Huge number you made in commission. So you're just a super talent and a star. What would you attribute that success so fast, if you had to narrow it down?
I think I was going above and beyond for every deal, no matter it was a $100,000 home or $1 million home. I went with the same attitude. I think people saw that, so they started giving me opportunities. That was, I think, one of the biggest things. And Brad told me when I first joined the office, he told me I could make $500,000. I was like, okay. I didn't know. I was close last year, and this year I might pass that.
Yeah, Ming's doing everything right, building a team, but just incredibly hard worker and huge insight just as to the deal and what's happening and the timing of saying things. We had that conversation yesterday about just strategy and negotiation. All right, here's one that we forget sometimes. So I love real estate. I've been in 30 years. I love real estate. I love everything about real estate. But I think sometimes we forget what we like about real estate. Okay? I mean, it can be a very stressful business. And just like the letter we read earlier, there's a lot of agents that don't really help out much anymore. They don't return your calls. Information is poor. I think we have to remember the things we like. So, like, what are your what are your favorite things about real estate?
I think there's 2 things. I think it's one of those businesses where the level of work you put in, if you put an excess level of work in, you're gonna reap the rewards of that business. I've working in the restaurant business for 20 years. I could work from 9 a.m. to midnight, and it doesn't matter how hard I work. I'm only going to pull in so much money. So you can only do so much with that. But the other part of it is I really enjoy helping people. We forget about these are people's homes. This is where your heart is. This is where you build a family, and I really and people really respond to that when you help them find the perfect home. You help them with that, because that's the center of their life.
I think go ahead. I'm gonna let Paige talk first. Paige, how about you?
So going back to relationships, it's so rewarding when you close a deal and you have a first-time home buyer, somebody that didn't think they could purchase a property, or maybe they're the first person in their family to buy a house, and you're giving them the keys. And then continuing that transaction after closing, their hot water heater explodes, and you're the first person they call. Or something happens and you're their first call instead of going on Google, or their next door neighbor needs to sell and you're their call. That's incredible.
So everything they said is correct. So I don't need to repeat. On top of that, I wanted to add on, last year I started doing commercial real estate, which was one of the main reasons that I got my numbers up, thanks to Charlie. And I really enjoy the fact that I'm able to help these small business owners start businesses without my help, or a professional commercial realtor's help. It will be really hard for small business owners to start a new business, to secure a location to do that. So I found that very rewarding. And the second is, you help small business owners expand their business from one location to 2, 3, 4. It's also very rewarding. So I love that a lot.
Okay, so I think you heard a common thing, and I think if you like people and you like relationships and you like helping people, you're always going to like this business. And if that's your motive, you'll actually keep making more money because of it. People know that. I'm guessing all 3 of you, your day's not random. So, Ming, what does a typical day for you look like? Like, do you have a time you're expecting to get up? What do you do? When does it end in your mind?
Oh, in your mind, it never ends. When I'm asleep, I'm thinking about these deals. But I'm kind of lazy, so my day starts at around 8 o'clock. But anyway, I think I focus my day on following up. That's my biggest thing. Because fortunately, I have a lot of people that I'm working with, sometimes, 15 at a time. And my biggest thing is really following up with each of these 15 person that I'm working with. Because I know we have to cultivate new leads and make cold calls, but rather than doing that, I focus my time on following up with each of the 15 people that I'm working with. That way, I help them close out the deal, and then they will send me more people. Those are the things that I focus on.
Yeah, my day starts around 8 o'clock. And so I keep a note in my iPhone. It syncs to all of my devices, and it has all of my current business. So I start in bed. I'm not even out of bed yet. I go through my note, whoever is closest to the closing table, following up with them first, working to leads. And then making sure that all of my leads know that I still care about them. I'm still sending them properties every single morning. Hey, when are you guys available to go out? And then I look at what I've time blocked for the day. Do I have any listing appointments? Where do I need to be at what time? So really my schedule is probably booked a week in advance. And then it doesn't end.
Tony?
My day starts about 5:15, 5:30 in the morning, depending on how many times I hit the snooze button. And I get up, got to get my daughter to school, and then by the time she's at school, I'm, basically looking at my CRM. That's one of the first things I do to see what's got to be done for the day. If there's anything that's pressing that has to be taken care of right away, that gets taken care of. But pretty much my big thing is lead gen. That's the first part of my day. If it's not 100% emergency that needs to be taken care of, then I'm trying to work on that until about noon or 1 o'clock every day. I definitely subscribe to what Gary Keller says about that's the one thing that we need to do the most of is the lead gen. Obviously, maintaining the relationships and servicing our clients is very important. But if it's something that can wait, then it waits until after that time. And then my day will run, hopefully, when I have my daughter until 5, I work till 5, and then when I get her down, I'll put her to bed. But then again, I have a second job as well. So on the weekends when I work that, I'll be up at work until 10 or 11 at night, and then I get home from that, and I'll get on the FMLS, get on my CRM, send out emails, things like that. So I'm putting in a lot of hours. It's kind of a nonstop thing right now while I'm building my business.
Where do you find this energy from? I really would love to know.
Well, right now I'm making some sacrifices. I don't have much of a social life, really, to be honest, because until I'm not working 2 jobs, I just have to you have to say yes to some things and no to other things.
Do you ever get tired?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wake up every day. I'm exhausted when the day starts, but there are times that I do get to catch up on sleep, and I'll get 9 or 10 hours of sleep on like on a Sunday night. I'm like, it's 7 o'clock. My daughter's in bed. I'm in bed. So.
Can I mention something real quick?
Yeah, but I bet the answer is.
I want it. Honestly, I'm passionate about it. I love what I do. I love real estate, and I can't wait for the moment that I am no longer working a second job, because then I'm going to have even more time to put into it. So because I'm passionate about it, it does drive me. But I do get worn out. I do get tired. I do have days where I say I don't want to do it.
But I'm a wager that behind all that, Tony has made a commitment to his daughter and his life, that we're going to be here, right? And that's above everything.
And that's even on my wall. It says, my big why. I want to spend more time with my daughter. I'm looking at that when I'm making my phone calls.
And it's a hard thing people to understand. Sometimes Gary will say this: starting a business, you have to be very much out of balance in your life to get this going, to be at a point where all of a sudden the balance swings where the money is coming in and I have time. And you recognize that. But I love what Ming said. Again, remember, this business, the key is the follow-up. Plain and simple. Not that if Ming didn't get a call right now, he's not going to, new client, he's not going to go talk to him. But I mean, the visual literally is like a guy at Cirque du Soleil that's juggling 20 balls, okay? He's got 20 clients at all times. And what we're trying to do is keep them all up in the air, okay? So he's very aware of all 20. Whoa! I told that guy to get him an electrician, right? There we go. Oh, I hadn't called him in 3 days, right? That's what we're doing. But you gotta know who they are, and the last time you responded to them and have them top of mind, right?
Yeah.
Last question. What activities do you never miss daily, weekly, monthly?
I mean, CRM every day. Absolutely. You got to know what's going on, what tasks need to get accomplished. Sometimes I look at a task, I can push it, but that's definitely every day. The lead gen is that's 5 days a week. I don't make the cold calls on the weekend because I felt that if I made 2,000 calls during the week, I've made enough. However, the follow-up calls are going to start. The 3-month follow-up calls are going on the weekends now, just to kind of allow for more time.
So what I found is that no one's going to prioritize yourself except for you. So time blocking, some moments for yourself. It can be easy to get discouraged in this business. So doing a gratitude journal, 5 things I'm thankful for, 5 things I won't allow in my life, 3 things I want to improve in myself. Every single day has been incredible. Weekly, just as important as mental health is physical health, going to the gym. And then monthly, scheduling some time for yourself, be it going to the park or getting a massage, whatever that is. Again, just time blocking that out and saying, I'm sorry, I have an appointment that time.
I think for me, it's the social media marketing, and I try to do more. And it's not just about real estate, it's about posting, hey, I'm spending time with my daughter. My clients will see that, and they would think of me when they see that. And it's about, hey, I'm attending a social event for this cause. My clients will see that. They'll be like, oh, this guy's legit. He's kind-hearted. Maybe I'm not, but I'm just kidding. I am. Anyway, and I wanted to add on to something to that. He says he doesn't have a social life right now. And which I can believe it, because what I have done is I have incorporated my work life and social life into one thing. So I'm working and socializing at the same time at all the events that I go to. Because last year, a lot of things have happened. It's kind of miracle. I would go to a party and be like, hey, I don't want to talk about real estate at all. But these people, when they find out you're a realtor, everybody asks you about real estate. And then I end up getting tons of clients from these parties that I never thought I would, want to talk about real estate. So I have, on my vision wall, I have incorporated, actually very deliberately pick out organizations and social events that I want to attend to socialize and get business.
Good.
Deliberately.
So proud of the 3 of you. You're killing it, and just thanks for sharing everything you did. We're just really proud of all 3 of you guys.
You can see why.
Interesting, Ming and I had almost the same idea at the same time. So if you look, both of us are having one wall in our office that you can write on, and it's magnetic. I just have to have more stuff this way, not Charlie. We got an idea for you. I'll talk to you after show. Okay, so
wall filing system is
we have some awards. We have some awards. Stacy.
Yes, I want to recognize some recent Ignite graduates. Just as we're starting a new Ignite class today, and I mentioned last week, anyone is welcome to join in, pop into a class. So our first is Doreen DeFlavis. And Doreen has started a networking group, or she was already in it, and has invited them to meet at our office one evening after work. And know that you can do that as long as you take care of everything. But networking, great. It's sort of like a BNI group.
Yes, it's sort of like a BNI. It's called Mastermind Networking. And we do need commercial agents and other inspectors and things like that. So if you know anybody, please reach out to me. I love networking and meeting other people. And if you'd like to join 1 week as a visitor, please reach out to me. It's a great way to get contacts.
There you go. Caroline Jaffe.
Well, thank you. I love the boots too.
Oh my goodness, y'all gotta see these. There we go, and you did it. All right, and while I'm over here, Amina on the wall.
Thank you.
And Chanel Murphy was out in the hall. Did she slip out, Carrie? She was out in the hall.
with me.
Okay. Oh, that's it. She's coaching with Misha. And that is it. Thanks.
Okay. Just want to alert you, for people that have been here a long time, you've heard this talk before. But we are entering, soon to enter, the time.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's interesting, a lot of people, we've had Indian summer, it's warm, almost everyone is complaining about it being hot. I've taken the opposite view. I'm going to celebrate every day it being hot, because once it stops, it'll be 7 months. But it looks like, if you look at I'm a junior weatherman. I'm always looking out. That it looks like early Tuesday, Wednesday next week, we are going to kind of 80 and 50s. Okay? Which is still not quite the time, but I think it will begin the time. So the time is actually a time of complete weirdness and insanity in every person you know in life in the world. Okay? I've been married 37 years. I noticed this starting year 4, that Arden and I were just at this time, couldn't explain it. We were just at odds. We get along really well. We were just at odds for 10 days to 2 weeks. Just bizarre stuff, like she would go, "Here you go, here's a radio." And I'd be like, or we'd be sitting in a red light, she'd go, it's green, and I'm looking at it, it's red. It's just like,
So it's her, huh?
you notice that. Now it goes both ways. So we figured out that something was going on, and it's really this change from warm weather to cooler weather. And what's happening is just like spring fever in reverse. Okay, you've gone summer, hot, 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 hot. There's nothing changing. Nothing's the same. Days the same. Days the same. Days the same. Days the same. Doesn't even feel like time's passing. And all of a sudden, holy smokes, it feels different. I'm alive emotionally, and time has passed. And all of a sudden, I wake up that, oh my gosh, you start analyzing everything in your life, your business, your relationship, everything just at one time, because time has passed, and I kind of fell asleep for 3 or 4 months with it being hot. So people become overly emotional, like insanely emotional, okay? And what we realized was we just acknowledged it's the time, and the key to our gig was don't respond. Just nod your head and really sleep on it. And the next day it'll go away. But what I'm trying to tell you is, in all your relationships, this is going to be happening. And in your real estate business, this is going to be happening. You're going to have other agents and clients just like you got, you're going to be saying, you got to be kidding me. Just try not to respond, sleep on it. Most of it go away. It'll probably last 10 days to 2 weeks. It will probably start in some form next week. Could be a little bit longer. I think the key is when it gets kind of 70s, 50, high 40s, then you really see it happen. Just be prepared. This is just normal. And here's the key to it all. I see incredible amount of bad decisions made during this time, because your response is, I want to change everything. Okay? Just get through the period. Okay? Just find things you like every day that make you happy and go do them. I like holding a Starbucks cup. I just do. Go get your. Okay, I like petting my dog. Just things that you know make you happy, just do them. You'll get through this. Okay, super quick, super quick. Nope, you're gonna wave it off. Just stand in the door, we'll acknowledge you. So, Randolph, Lip, Certainty Home Loans, back from Scotland, amazing trip that you had.
Loved it. Aye, laddie. Loved it, had a great time.
So, again, we hear stories over and over. Certainty Home Loans, Gannick, use them. They're not here by accident. They're here because they do things right and they communicate. There are too many stories of people that use someone else. These guys took it over at the last minute, got the deal done, got it right. And Paul and I, holy smokes, we were in craziest closing for one of my agents of all time, and Paul got it done. So use these guys. They're really good. They're here for a reason. Both are, well, Randy's right around the corner, Paul's right across the highway. So any 5-second clips you want to?
Hey, you need a 14-day close in a competitive market? Come talk to us.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm sure Paul will say, just be aware, we're in that hyper period of taxes, right?
No, I was actually, something happened last week, so I was just going to remind everyone.
Okay.
Community association disclosures. When you're representing the seller, please sit down with them and fill out that form. I had a seller last week eat $2,000 for undisclosed dues. This was a unit in the W residence downtown. Sales price $515. You can only imagine what those HOA dues are. There was a capital contribution fee that was 2 months worth. That was well over $1,000. There was an initiation fee. None of it was disclosed by the listing agent, who is not a Keller Williams agent. But nonetheless, not only didn't disclose it, they didn't even show up to the closing. And she found that agent because he has other listings in the building. So if he's doing this to one client, imagine how many other sellers are going to have to eat almost well over $2,000. Please sit with your clients when filling out those forms and dealing with HOAs.
Good point. Also, we're in the peak of property taxes being due. At this point, if you have something in the next 15 days, probably advise your seller, don't pay them at this point.
Yeah, we're like I said, if they're still showing up as due on the site,
right.
Tax administrator, we collect it, we hold it.
Right.
Because a lot of times mortgage companies that are being paid off go ahead and submit them because everything's come due now in every city, county across Georgia for the most part. So they will go ahead and release it through the escrows if you're escrowing with your current mortgage company. And then, of course, we'd rather just refund you a few days after closing versus you waiting 30 to 45 days of getting reimbursed from the county. So we will hold it for a few days based on the time of year that we're closing.
You will get it back, worst case scenario. Okay, let's hustle listings, caravans. What do you got?
Today I'm doing agent caravan, something a little different. A wine and cheese from 4 to 6 with a $100 drawing for everybody who comes and gives me their business card. In Decatur, City of Decatur schools, 5, 4 and a half, listed at 9:30. Please come and see us.
Excellent, Luann.
Please come to my luncheon caravan today. It's in Rivergate, which is in Sandy Springs, just off of Spalding, so it's real close to here. We have a flyer at your desk. It's a great house. We just had a complete renovation of the master suite, the bathroom and bedroom. It's a beautiful home, but I would love your feedback. So.
Is it an Italian lunch?
It's an Italian fried chicken.
An Italian lunch.
And salad.
Wow. Michelle.
I have a quiet listing, walking distance to pretty much downtown Alpharetta. It is downtown Alpharetta. 5-bedroom, does need some love, 328. So it's a quiet listing if anybody knows anyone that wants to put some love on it. The values are going up to $500,000 in that area.
RJ.
We have a house coming on the coming soon system today. It'll be ready to show, or could be ready to show even now. Ralston Court in Dunwoody. It's 639.9. It has 2 masters, a master on the main and a master upstairs. They've done everything we suggested staging wise. It's in great shape. New master bath, some other mini renovations on Ralston Court.
Hey.
We've got 2 properties. One I've mentioned before, We had a house that originally on Kingsborough Road, which is right where Brookhaven and Buckhead kind of meet, right off of Peachtree Road near Phipps. You can basically walk to Phipps from there. It's been reduced to $675. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, built in 2006, but it retains the aesthetics of the neighborhood. It's a historic neighborhood, Ridgedale Park. The second properties are coming soon. Just went on yesterday. It's It's listed for $545. It's a 4 or 5 bedroom home with 4 full baths, being sold as is in Breckenridge between Briarcliff and La Vista, close to CDC, VA Hospital, New Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, North Druid Hills campus. So please, if you got anybody looking in those areas, you touch base with me or let me know.
Paige?
So I've got one coming soon, no rental restrictions in North Buckhead, where a townhome end unit for $315 will be a 2-2.
John?
I've got 2 that hopefully will be ready. One of them's going to hit the market later today off Macklin Road in McEachern High School in Vineyard Park East. It's new construction. It was new construction about 4 years ago, so it's going to go on the market between $450 and $460. We're still working out that today, and pictures were done yesterday, so that one's going to be on the market. Possible open house opportunity, because I may not be able to work. I've got 2 listings actually going to hit. The other one is in Walker's Ridge in Marietta, which is about 2 miles from there, just closer into town. Probably going to list somewhere between $325 and $330. They've got to get the pressure washing done. If everything falls into place, it'll go on the market by Friday. So let me know. And also I still have a condo at Habersham Estates in Buckhead for $164. It's a loft style. So anyways, same square footage as a 2-bedroom.
Nice. Carolyn?
I have a mixed bag of tricks. We have some that are listed, some that are not listed. Basically, there's one that is a 1/3 acre in the Beltline. It is not listed yet. Seller wants $560,000. It is zoned for all kinds of stuff and things, inclusive of mixed use. So that's a lovely opportunity in the Beltline. I can repeat that one more time for $560,000. So if anyone has anyone that's interested, investors, etc., doing a mixed use development, please give me a call. We have a preliminary on the phase 1. We also have a preliminary on the architectural structure. We understand that it would be a 70-30 split, which means that you're going to have 30% of your retail on each floor. It can hold 30,000 square feet plus. It goes up to 40,000 square feet, but parking could be a little tricky, so there's a solution that's being worked on for that too. Let's see, we also have some stuff coming on in the Beltline. There are lots that are not yet developed. They are also not yet listed. We're about to list them. There's 5 of them. They'll be ranging from 100 and something thousand to 200 and something thousand. They go from a 1/4 acre up to a 1/2 acre. Architectural designs have already been turned into the city of Atlanta. We're waiting on all kinds of SAP and lovely things like that. So if you have anybody that's interested in the Beltline, give me a holler.
There we go. Okay, no one else? Oh, Arjun.
So, it's Jim Carney's birthday this week.
Brad, I don't even pay attention. Anyway, it's Jim McCarty's birthday this week. That means Sandy's made cupcakes, and they're in the break room.
He is such a talented cook. All right, so, Bill, go ahead.
You've got a listing. We just reduced the price to $795 in Sandy Springs inside the perimeter. It's got a helipad, an indoor pool, and an equestrian center.
Wow.
How many acres?
Actually, it doesn't have any of those. But it has it's on a beautiful cul-de-sac lot, and an awesome finished basement, and it's vacant, ready for your meeting occupancy, $795.
Big Road.
All right, so, Big Roast, we're in the month of October. Bill's House, October 25th. This is Friday only this year. Pig cookout. Start, you can get there at 2, 3 in the afternoon Friday. You gotta leave by sunup the next morning. Okay, that's it. We're cooking everything. We're cooking pig, pork, burgers, dogs, wings, cornhole, bonfire, World Series baseball on the big screen.
Adult beverages.
A lot of adult beverages. Bring yourself, bring a spouse, date, significant other, no kids at this event. Stay all night if you want. It's a great event. Friday, October 25th. Okay, peak tomorrow. Peak tomorrow with websites, 10 o'clock. All good one.